Men don't want just anyone. They crave a woman who stands out, someone who commands respect and inspires admiration. If you've ever wondered how to make him see you as the woman he can't live without, you're in the right place. Because today I'm revealing the exact traits that make men beg to commit. Too many women believe the fairy tale that love just happens. But relationships, like anything worthwhile, require intentional effort. The truth is, men aren't just looking for beauty. They're searching for substance, for someone who inspires them to be better. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it takes to make men not only love you, but fight to be by your side. Men mirror how you treat yourself. This truth is fundamental, yet often overlooked. If you don't respect yourself, your time, your values, your boundaries, how can you expect a man to do so? Self-respect is the foundation of not only how others perceive you, but also how they interact with you. When you carry yourself with dignity and refuse to compromise your worth, it sets a standard. Men notice this, and it's incredibly attractive because it signals that you're someone who knows what you deserve and won't settle for less. Self-respect starts with setting boundaries. Too often, people confuse kindness with being overly accommodating, saying yes when they mean no, or bending over backward to meet others' expectations. But men are not drawn to someone who sacrifices their own needs just to please them. In fact, this can backfire, making you seem dependent or lacking in confidence. Respecting yourself means knowing where to draw the line and confidently standing by it. When you say, "This is what I expect," and enforce it, men see you as someone who is strong, secure, and worth pursuing. And another critical part of self-respect is prioritizing your own goals and passions. A woman who respects herself knows that her life isn't defined by a man or a relationship. She has dreams, ambitions, and a purpose outside of her romantic life. When you dedicate time and energy to personal growth, it sends a powerful message. You're a woman of substance, someone who brings value to a relationship beyond physical attraction. This independence doesn't just make you more interesting. It makes men respect and admire you. They see you as someone who inspires them to grow and be better rather than someone who needs to be completed or validated. Taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally is another vital aspect of self-respect. Men are drawn to women who exude confidence and self-assurance, and much of that comes from how you treat your own body and mind. This doesn't mean you have to look like a supermodel or have your life completely figured out. It's about investing in yourself, whether that's through maintaining a healthy lifestyle, pursuing hobbies you're passionate about, or seeking personal development. A woman who values her well-being demonstrates that she's in control of her life, and that confidence is magnetic. Self-respect also means not tolerating behaviors that undermine your worth. If a man disrespects you, whether it's through words, actions, or how he treats your time, you must be willing to walk away. This can be difficult, especially if you feel emotionally invested, but it's necessary. When you accept disrespect or mistreatment, it sends the message that you're willing to settle. On the other hand, when you stand firm and demand respect, you're showing him yourself that you're a woman who deserves to be valued. Ultimately, respecting yourself is about recognizing that you are already whole. You don't need a man to validate you or define your worth. When you treat yourself as a priority, you set the tone for how others, including men who see your self-respect, will understand that being in your life is a privilege, not a given. And that realization is what makes them step up, strive harder, and ultimately beg to be part of your journey. In relationships, one of the most powerful ways to connect with a man is to inspire him, not through force, manipulation, or ultimatums, but by embodying qualities that naturally motivate him to rise to his fullest potential. The key to building a lasting and fulfilling connection lies in encouragement, not pressure. Men, like anyone, are drawn to environments and people that make them feel capable, motivated, and valued. When you inspire a man, you become the reason he wants to grow, improve, and commit not because he feels obligated, but because he genuinely wants to. So what does it mean to inspire a man? It starts with living your own life with purpose and passion. A man who sees you pursuing your goals, developing your talents, and chasing your dreams will be drawn to that energy. When you are fully engaged in your own life, you become a source of inspiration to him. He'll see that you're not waiting around for someone to complete you. You're already whole. This ignites a sense of admiration and respect, which is far more powerful than any demand you could place on him. When you demand change from someone, it often creates resistance. Men, in particular, are less likely to respond positively to being told what they have to do. Ultimatums and criticisms often backfire, creating frustration or even resentment. But when you model the behavior or mindset you want to see in him, it encourages him to reflect and improve on his own terms. For example, if you want him to be more ambitious, show him your own drive and determination. If you want him to be more communicative, demonstrate vulnerability and openness. Inspiring a man also involves recognizing and supporting his dreams. Too often relationships falter because one or both partners feel their goals are unappreciated or undervalued. But when you take the time to understand what excites him, whether it's a career ambition, a creative project, or a personal growth journey, you show him that you're invested in his success. Encourage him, celebrate his wins, and be there when he faces challenges. This creates a partnership built on mutual respect and growth. Another aspect of inspiration is challenging him in a healthy and positive way. Men are naturally drawn to women who make them think, question, and grow. This doesn't mean being confrontational or critical. It means engaging in meaningful conversations, offering new perspectives, and helping him see possibilities he may not have considered. When you inspire him to think deeper, work harder, or dream bigger, you show him that you're not just a partner, but a catalyst for his evolution. At the same time, it's crucial to avoid trying to fix him. Men don't want to feel like a project or a problem to solve. Instead, focus on celebrating his strengths while encouraging growth. When he feels valued for who he is, he'll be more open to improving in areas where he might need it. By focusing on his potential rather than his flaws, you create a dynamic where he feels empowered rather than judged. Ultimately, inspiration is about being a source of light and positivity in his life. It's about showing him that life with you isn't just about existing, it's about thriving. When he feels that you bring out the best in him, he won't just want to be with you. Men are naturally drawn to women who challenge and uplift them, who inspire them to become the best versions of themselves. And when you embody this, you won't need to demand anything. He'll be the one striving to meet your standards because he knows that being with you is worth it. One of the most overlooked yet essential qualities men look for in a partner is emotional stability. This doesn't mean you have to suppress your emotions or always have it together. Far from it. It means being able to navigate your feelings with grace, maintain composure in challenging situations, and offer a sense of calm and balance in the relationship. Emotional stability is not just attractive. It's essential for creating trust, safety, and long-term connection. Men, like anyone, want to feel secure in a relationship. A partner who radiates emotional stability offers a sense of consistency and reliability. This doesn't mean you won't experience ups and downs, but how you handle those moments matters immensely. When you can manage conflict, express your emotions constructively, and bounce back from challenges with resilience, you show that you're someone he can count on, even in tough times. Let's break it. And emotional stability begins with self-awareness. Being aware of your own triggers, insecurities, and emotions allows you to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if you're upset with him, instead of lashing out or shutting down, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What do I really need right now? When you approach conflicts with clarity and understanding, it not only helps you communicate better, but also fosters a sense of calm in the relationship. Emotional stability also means being able to handle life's uncertainties with grace. Life is unpredictable and relationships are no different. There will be moments of stress, disappointment, or disagreement. How you navigate these moments speaks volumes about your emotional maturity. When you face adversity with a calm and solution-oriented mindset, you show him that you're not easily shaken. This creates a sense of trust. He knows that no matter what challenges arise, you'll face them. Another important aspect is emotional regulation. We all have emotions, but radiating stability means not letting your feelings control you. If you're upset, instead of exploding in anger or resorting to passive-aggressive behavior, you approach the situation with honesty and composure. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," you might say, "I feel unheard when I try to express myself. Can we talk about this?" This shifts the dynamic from confrontation to collaboration, making it easier for him to understand and address your concerns. Emotional stability doesn't mean being emotionless. It's about expressing your feelings in a way that strengthens the relationship rather than causing unnecessary conflict. Men appreciate women who can communicate their needs without drama or excessive negativity. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means choosing how to express them. When you're able to stay calm during disagreements and work toward resolution, you create a partnership built on mutual respect and understanding. Providing emotional stability also means offering empathy and support during his vulnerable moments. Men often face societal pressure to suppress their emotions, but deep down they crave a safe space where they can express their fears, struggles, and insecurities without judgment. If you can listen to him with patience, validate his feelings, and offer encouragement, you'll create a bond that goes beyond surface level attraction. He'll see you as someone he can trust with his most authentic self, and that trust is priceless. Finally, radiating emotional stability is about creating an environment of peace and positivity. Men are naturally drawn to relationships that bring out the best in them. If your presence makes him feel calm, supported, and inspired, he'll find it hard to imagine life without you. To stability doesn't mean avoiding challenges. It means facing them together with a mindset of growth and resilience. In the end, emotional stability is one of the most powerful traits you can bring to a relationship. It shows him that you're not just a partner in good times, but a rock he can lean on during the storms of life. When you radiate this kind of stability, you become the woman he doesn't just want to be with. You become the woman he needs to be with. The key to maintaining a dynamic and compelling relationship lies in your ability to challenge him without compromising your own standards. Men, at their core, are driven by growth, achievement, and purpose. They need a partner who not only supports their journey, but also pushes them to be the best version of themselves. However, the challenge should be rooted in mutual respect, one that helps him grow, not one that diminishes his value or forces him to change for the wrong reasons. Challenging a man in a healthy way starts with recognizing his potential and encouraging him to rise to it. The challenge isn't about criticizing him or pointing out his flaws. It's about seeing the best in him and inspiring him to reach. If you see that he has the potential for greater success, whether in his career, personal development, or even the relationship itself, encourage him to take action. This could be as simple as asking thought-provoking questions or offering a new perspective. For example, if he's settling into a routine that doesn't align with his full potential, instead of directly confronting him or criticizing, you could ask, have you thought about how you can push yourself further? This type of challenge isn't confrontational. It's inspiring and invites him to reflect on his own abilities. It shows him that you believe in his potential and want to see him excel, but you aren't going to settle for mediocrity. Challenging him also means holding him accountable, not out of criticism, but out of a desire for growth. If you notice areas where he could improve, don't hesitate to bring it up, but do so with tact and care. For instance, if he's falling behind on his commitments, instead of letting it slide or becoming passive-aggressive, you can gently ask, is everything okay with your project? You've got so much potential, and I know you can make it happen. This approach is supportive and motivating, not accusatory, and it shows that you're invested in his success. It's important to remember that a relationship is about balance. When you challenge him to reach his full potential, you must also challenge yourself to grow too. Growth in the relationship happens when both partners elevate each other. When he sees you striving for your own goals and living out your own potential, it will challenge him to do the same. You create a partnership based on mutual ambition and shared growth, which is far more powerful than one where either partner compromises themselves to keep the peace. The key to challenging him without compromising is to maintain mutual respect and understanding. You don't have to lower your standards or accept less than you deserve in order to inspire change. Instead, you challenge him to rise to the person he can be, while simultaneously embodying the strength, ambition, and integrity you wish to see in him. This dynamic fosters a deep respect and admiration in both partners, and it strengthens the bond you share. When you challenge a man in this way, he doesn't feel diminished. He feels empowered to become the best version of himself. And this in turn makes him more committed to the relationship, to his growth, and to the partnership you share. One of the most profound ways to build an unbreakable bond with a man is by nurturing his vulnerability. Men are often conditioned by society to suppress their emotions, hide their struggles, and appear invulnerable. They may fear being judged or seen as weak if they express their true feelings. Yet deep down, every man longs for a safe space where he can be open, honest, and vulnerable without fear of rejection or ridicule. When you nurture this side of him, you create a foundation of trust, intimacy, and emotional connection that is unparalleled. The first step in nurturing his vulnerability is creating a safe environment, one where he feels emotionally safe to share without fear of judgment or criticism. This means listening to him with empathy and without interruption, validating his feelings instead of dismissing them, and showing him that you're there to understand, not to fix or criticize. For instance, if he opens up about a personal struggle or fear, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions or tell him how to fix the problem. Instead, provide a comforting, non-judgmental space where he can simply express himself. Let him know that his feelings are valid, even if they seem difficult to articulate or understand. Men often feel pressure to be the strong, stoic figure in the relationship. And when they do show vulnerability, it can be hard for them to trust that their partner won't use it against them later. This is why your response to his vulnerability is so critical. Acknowledge it with compassion and understanding. For example, if he's sharing his fears or insecurities about his future, respond with, "I'm so grateful that you trust me with this. You don't have to carry this alone. I'm here with you." This kind of response lets him know that his vulnerability isn't a burden to you, but a strength in the relationship. It's also important to recognize that vulnerability isn't just about sharing emotional struggles. It's also about allowing him to express his hopes, dreams, and weaknesses. A man who is vulnerable with you is allowing you to see his true self, the parts of him that are imperfect, that fear failure, that doubt his own abilities. By nurturing this vulnerability, you show him that you don't expect him to be perfect. In fact, you embrace his imperfections as part of what makes him uniquely valuable. This creates a deeper sense of emotional intimacy where both of you can feel safe in being your authentic selves. When you nurture his vulnerability, you also create a space where emotional reciprocity can flourish. Men are often hesitant to be emotionally open because they fear their partner might not reciprocate. If you want him to feel comfortable being vulnerable, you need to demonstrate vulnerability yourself. Share your own fears, insecurities, and struggles. This creates a mutual exchange where both of you feel heard and understood. When he sees you being emotionally open and trusting him with your own vulnerabilities, he'll feel more encouraged to do the same. Another important aspect of nurturing his vulnerability is offering him emotional support, especially during times of hardship or stress. If he's going through a tough time at work, with family, or even personally, be there for him. Not support him in a way that lets him know you're by his side without trying to fix the situation. Sometimes the best way to support a man's vulnerability is to simply be there, offering a listening ear, a comforting touch, or just the presence of someone who endures. This kind of emotional support strengthens the bond between you both and creates a sense of safety that encourages more open and honest communication. In nurturing his vulnerability, you're not only deepening your emotional connection, but you're also allowing him to feel seen, heard, and accepted. This type of emotional openness is the foundation of a strong and enduring relationship. When a man feels that his vulnerabilities are safe with you, that his fears and insecurities won't be used against him or mocked, he begins to feel truly connected and committed to the relationship. This deep sense of emotional safety and understanding fosters a bond that can weather any storm. The more you nurture his vulnerability, the more he will invest in the relationship, and the more committed he will be to growing alongside you. One of the most powerful qualities that can draw a man in and make him respect you deeply is your ability to exude confidence in your independence. In a world that often promotes codependence in relationships, it may seem counterintuitive to thrive as your own person while being in a partnership. However, true strength in a relationship comes from each individual partner maintaining their own identity, passions, and sense of purpose. When you confidently stand in your independence, you not only become more attractive, but also create a dynamic of mutual respect and admiration that forms the backbone of a lasting relationship. Confidence in your independence means that you have your own goals, ambitions, and passions that you are actively pursuing, regardless of your relationship status. This doesn't mean you're prioritizing your ambitions over the relationship, but rather that you recognize that your value doesn't hinge on someone else's validation or approval. When you show that you're fulfilled and self-sufficient, it tells a man that you are not seeking completion or fulfillment from him. Instead, you want a partnership where both of you are whole individuals who come together to build something even greater. A key part of exuding confidence in your independence is knowing your worth and acting on it. This isn't about arrogance or self-centeredness. It's about having a deep understanding of who you are, what you bring to the table, and the value you offer to the world. You're not afraid to set boundaries. Walk away from situations that don't serve you and demand the respect and treatment you deserve. When a man sees that you have a high standard for yourself and that you won't settle for anything less than what aligns with your values, he will find you irresistible. Confidence comes from knowing that you don't need to compromise who you are or lower your standards just to please someone else. A common mistake that people make in relationships is becoming overly dependent on their partner for emotional fulfillment or for their sense of purpose. This often leads to unhealthy dynamics where one partner feels burdened or overwhelmed by the other's neediness. But when you exude confidence in your independence, you allow space for both partners to thrive. You're not reliant on him for validation or constant attention. Instead, you are secure in who you are and where you're going, and he can see that you're not afraid to take on the world, whether he's by your side or not. When a man sees you confidently standing in your independence, it ignites a sense of admiration and respect. He is not threatened by your ambition or success. Instead, he is inspired by it. He wants to be with someone who challenges him to rise to the occasion, someone who brings out the best in him simply by being the best version of herself. This dynamic fuels passion and desire in the relationship because both partners are contributing to it with their individual strengths rather than relying on each other to complete them. Confidence in your independence also fosters a sense of equality in the relationship. You don't expect him to be your emotional caretaker or to meet all of your needs. Instead, you recognize that a successful relationship is about mutual respect and mutual growth. When you maintain your independence, you Make it clear that you're not looking for a savior or someone to define you. You're looking for a partner who complements and adds value to the life you've already built for yourself. Ultimately, exuding confidence in your independence does not mean shutting him out or becoming emotionally distant. It means demonstrating that you are whole and capable on your own, and that the relationship is an enhancement to your already rich life. When you approach life with this kind of confidence and self-assuredness, you create a magnetic energy that attracts a man who values you for your full, authentic self, not for what you need from him. He will be drawn to you not just for your beauty or charm, but for your strength, your independence, and your ability to navigate the world as your own person. This respect for your individuality becomes the foundation of a deep, lasting, and powerful partnership. Here's the secret. And when you respect yourself, inspire growth, and radiate confidence, you become the kind of woman men dream of marrying, not because you're playing games, but because you're playing to win at life. When you live with purpose and authenticity, the right man will beg to be part of your story. So step into your power and let the world take notice. Don't just attract a man, inspire him. Until next time, keep being the woman worth fighting for.